So I'm an actor, writer and dancer, and I'm also a model too. But my background is really varied. I used to do work in finance, and I used to work as a journalist, and I did my degree in international relations. So I've come from a corporate background, and I quit my job and I quit my career to pursue the arts full time back in 2018. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster journey since then, and it's taken all sorts of twists and turns, but it's the best decision I ever made in my life. My creativity has been with me since I was a child. My mum and dad used to dance and perform on stage, and my dad's the one who actually taught me how to dance and put me up on stage at local Diwali shows and events from the age of 4. So I did my first performance on stage when I was 4 years old in front of about 200 people at St Wilfrid's School in Crawley, actually. And then that just became an annual thing, which I do in the summers and during festivals. And so I grew up watching Bollywood films and loving to watch movies and wanting to be on screen myself one day. And then when it came to it, I started dancing in competitions as a teenager. So Bollywood dance stayed with me from throughout my childhood and on the side of my education. And I wanted to go to a drama school to kind of pursue the acting full time. But at the time, my parents were concerned that that wouldn't be a safe career path for me. I wouldn't have anything to fall back on if it didn't work out for whatever reason. So they kind of encouraged me to pursue something which would probably be a bit more of a safer option. So the only thing I was good at school, the thing I was best at was I enjoyed doing politics, and I think that ties in with kind of human interaction and understanding how things work and the way the world works. So I did a degree in international relations, and then as a result at Queen Mary University in London. And during that process, the acting then became a pipe dream. I just thought, well, if I can't do it at drama school, then I'm just never gonna do it in my life. And that ship has kind of sailed. During my early 20s, the picture I had was, I'll go and I'll work on a trading floor, and I'll make a lot of money, and I'll be successful on that front, and that will fulfill me and give me happiness. And it obviously didn't work out that way when I actually got onto a trading floor, and I spent 2 years working in a trading floor environment where it's pretty much like the film Wolf of Wall Street, where there were black phones. My boss was like a screaming geezer, get shouted and screamed at all the time, and it was a sink or swim environment. And you have to adapt your attitude to survive in that kind of space. And all at the same time, I was running my own Bollywood dance company on the side. Okay. So I always kept the creativity up. That's where the Bollywood on Hollywood dance series comes in. I used to teach in a studio on Hollywood Road. So my classes were called Bollywood on Hollywood, and they just kind of took off. So my creative life outside of work started to I was trying to run 2 horses at the same time, and one's just started pushing the other out of the way. And I had a moment where I pulled the plug, and I thought, I can't, this is enough. If I looked around on the floor and I said, okay, I'm going to be that person over there or this person over here if I stay for another 10 years. And I didn't see myself being happy in that situation. So I think this is very important, is spending time to really get to know yourself, to know what direction you're going in. So I spent 6 months introspecting. I did it in an extreme way. I went on a 10-day silent meditation retreat where you don't talk for 10 days, and it's called Vipassana. So I kind of spent a lot of time with myself to kind of get a clear direction of where I wanted to go. And then I tried different avenues. So first I auditioned at some film schools and drama schools, and I thought maybe I'll go down that route. And I remember hearing from one of the principals in an interview at the school, he told me something really insightful. He said the biggest actors and actresses and talent in the business, they're not just the most artistically talented, they're also entrepreneurial and business savvy as well. They have the right amount of entrepreneurial flair, and they know how to market themselves, and that's unfortunately, in some instances, almost as important, if not more important sometimes, to get you success. So I then went back to the drawing board and I thought, well, I've spent 2 years as a stockbroker, so now I just need to broker myself rather than a stock. And I started right at the kind of first level, where I rolled my sleeves up and I just started doing work as an extra just to get on a film set. And then I got a break. Sometimes you need to get a break. And in my first 6 months, in the summer of 2019, I went for a script reading for an independent feature film. And 4 months later, after 3 or 4 auditions, I got offered the lead role in the film. So I ended up going to India in December 2019 to shoot this movie. So that was kind of a bit of a break, and in between there I knew I couldn't just rely on acting, so I have a network where I dance with different groups in London, so I was doing a lot of dancing work, and then I signed up with a modelling agency, so I was doing modelling work. And then whilst I was in London and I worked in my first job out of uni as a journalist, I was presenting as a fintech journalist. So we had a YouTube channel back in 2012 or 13. So I'd interview all these payments and fintechy executives, really kind of shoddily, because I was just kind of learning my interviewing practice. But that was kind of a presenting reel for me. So I started getting work as a presenter. So I quickly realised I had to diversify what I was doing to make money and to try and to kind of survive. There's all these networks. One thing which I've seen in the last year is the creation of artist groups. These people share links to any jobs that are going out, or any castings or any potential opportunities. So I think plugging into these kind of networks, it helps, because there's an environment where everybody just wants to see each other grow, and they want to help each other. But it does involve you having to go outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Some of the best experiences I've had as an actor have been going to a workshop where I don't know anyone, which is better, and then being made to stand up. And you really have to be quite vulnerable when you're acting or when you're doing a performance, because you're trying to show some sort of truth inside you, and that takes a lot of, you kind of have to forget that you're doing that, otherwise it can be a frightening thing to consider. But the feeling after that, after doing that, having done that and been in a room full of people who've done the same thing, you're never going to be 100% confident about going to approach someone to ask them about a certain thing. I'll give you an example of being terrified about networking in a potential situation, but it paying off. I'm dancing in the Marvel film with the Eternals. There's a big Bollywood dance scene in that film where there's 50 Bollywood dancers who are dancing with Kumail Nanjiani, and his character plays a Bollywood star in the film. And it was an incredible moment on set, because it was filmed at Pinewood Studios, and Chloe Zhao was directing it, and she just won the Oscar for Best Director. And I just wanted to go up and speak to Kumail Nanjiani at the end of the day. So I asked my manager if I could just get a few minutes with him.
Yeah.
And I was terrified of asking this question, because I was like, oh my God, what if he doesn't want to? Even though he was nice throughout all the rehearsals.
Yeah.
And she got me that time with him, and I went and I spoke to him, and he was so lovely, so warm, gave me so much advice. And he's even sent me a couple of emails since, just kind of giving me advice and checking in on how I'm doing. These people who are in these positions, they really want to help other people, because they've had to go through that process of networking, doing the jobs which you have to do to pay the bills, and and going through that journey. So they want to help others to elevate them through that process as well. To be recognised as an actor in the industry, you have to be registered on a database called Spotlight. Mm-hmm. It's almost like it's kind of like IMDb. But to be on Spotlight, you either have to have gone to a drama school or have a number of film or TV or acting credits.
Right.
And to get an agent, they only sign you onto their books if you're on Spotlight. So So like to get a job, or to get a job, you have to be on here, but to be on there, you have to kind of get a job. So it's like, it's all these catch-22. So there were a lot of challenges, but I do have a support network. I have 3 or 4 people, maybe 5, who I will send a self-tape, and even if it's rubbish, I know that I can send them this tape and they're going to give me honest feedback. Or they'll be up with me they'll be up till 11 o'clock midnight with me on a weeknight doing an audition with me, and I'll be with them just to get them through something. It's incredibly important to remember that you're a piece of something much bigger than yourself, and especially if you are an artist and you go in front of the camera, there's a tendency, you see it a lot, and it does happen where that you can have an ego, or an ego comes in, and you think, and then that pollutes your work and the atmosphere of how you interact with other people. So just trying to remain as humble as possible. You continuously have to be courageous to put yourself out there. When you create the best and when you create the most is when you're just slightly outside of that comfort zone. It's a very difficult place to put yourself, but the more you do it, the more rewarding experiences you have. So having that, and also resilience. Yeah, resilience is very important, because sometimes you can have a setback, but you might not see how that setback can help you in another way somewhere else. So one great thing or an idea might be, people who are listening to this, is reach out to 4 or 5 people who you'd love to speak to, even if it's on Twitter or Instagram, and you might get a response, or you'll know someone who'll be able to put you in touch.
Yeah.
So when I first started out, people in my network of friends and family, someone put me in touch with an actor in LA who was kind enough to just have a Zoom call with me for an hour. And another person put me in touch with someone from the UK who'd been acting for about 20-30 years. Push yourself to grow more. I wish I'd learned acrobatics as a kid, as a dancer, because I could have picked that. I know I could have picked that up, but I was too comfortable. Don't ever think that the ship has sailed, because just open yourself up to the possibility of that opportunity. And if you set that intention of wanting to take action, then your mind will begin to create circumstances, and opportunities will manifest to help to make that happen.